This is a complete fantasy short story. Ephedra has survived curses, monsters, and decades alone in the deepest part of the forest. Then, a cauldron girl knocks on her door. What follows is the most exhausting and rewarding battle of the old witch's life. Ephedra set her roasted toad and pickled mealworm sandwich next to the steaming mug of herbal tea. Celastra shared her fondness for toad sandwiches, but she wasn't here. Harsh words and quick temper had driven a wedge between them. Why didn't Celastris ever listen? The young never did. The crystal ball sitting in the middle of the table beckoned. With a touch and a glance, she could check on her, just to see if she was well, just to make sure everything was all right. No, this was all Celastris's fault. She would have to mend this wound. Ephedra angrily chomped into her sandwich, crunching on roasted toad bones with satisfaction. She sighed. Celastris would love this. Her eyes found the mantel above the stone hearth. A picture of her and Celastris foraging through the forest stared back. They would go for hours, returning with basketfuls of flowers and herbs, spending the day concocting remedies and potions, experimenting and creating new ones. If only her daughter wasn't so stubborn, so obstinate, just like her dear old mother. Ephedra swallowed uncomfortably. She went for another bite of her sandwich when loud clanks on the front door interrupted her. She brushed her hand over the crystal ball and an image of a small girl in a black uniform materialized. Behind her was a hovering broomstick tied to a wagon full of disgustingly cheerful boxes laden with sugary treats. Cauldron girls. Ephedra took another bite of her sandwich. No witch too young to grow a wart on her face was interrupting her meal. She blew on her tea and took a sip. Clank, clank, clank. She spat it out, burning her lips. You little witch! She licked her lips tenderly, sensing the extent of the damage before glaring down at her tormentor peering up at her through the crystal ball. I know you're in there, said the little witch and held up her sash, pointing to a patch. I have the presence-sensing badge. Ephedra huffed and stamped to the door, sandwich in hand. Cold toad sandwiches tasted no better than roadkill. She threw it open. Hello, my name is Willow, the girl announced in a rehearsed speech. I am a cauldron girl from Hearth 13. I am selling cookies to support my hearth. I love being a cauldron girl because of all the fun-loving activities we get to do, like foraging, brewing potions, collecting moss, hands-free basket weaving, toad breeding, mold tasting, wound stitching, scab picking. Ephedra's hand shot up. Yes, thank you, but I don't eat gluten, so thanks but no thanks. With a squint and attempt at a smile, Ephedra stepped back from her unwanted intruder and gripped the door to fling it shut. But you're eating a sandwich, Willow said, pointing to her hand. So? With bread? Ephedra held up her sandwich. Don't tell me my business. This bread uses bread gluten, whereas I'm allergic to cookie gluten, so, if those cookies were made with bread gluten, then maybe, but... Don't worry, ma'am. Willow tilted her head and cocked an eyebrow. You're in luck. All of our cookies are now made with bread gluten. Well, with inflation the way it is, I don't think I can afford those delicious cookies, you see. And now everything is 50% off. Ephedra squeezed the door in frustration. Her lips tightened as her attempts to free herself from her lunchtime nuisance failed. The direct approach was often the best. She slammed the door shut. Stupid little witch can't take a hint. Magic crackled and the door burst open. Willow smirked and gestured to her sash. Reverse badge. Look, I'm offering free samples. If you don't like it, you don't have to buy it. Ephedra had had enough. It was time to dance. Do you see this? She wrapped her fingers around a rope hanging to the side of the door and brought it into view. This is for annoying visitors like you. She pulled. The mat below Willow dropped open, exposing a bottomless black pit, but she continued to stand there unfazed, unbothered, and only gestured toward her sash. Levitation? Ephedra snarled like a wild animal. Reason had left, sanity had left, and only this tiny witch remained. She flung her arms vigorously in complex patterns, drawing incantations and curses pulled from the darkest parts of her soul, flinging them wildly at Willow, who simply flicked them off with a twist of her wrist. Hex deflection? Look, I've got everything. Spider mints, carousel delights, butterfly patties, sharp breads, pig nut butter sandwiches, possession aids. Are you sure you don't want to try one? Butterfly patties are my favorite. They're so light. Willow retrieved a wax paper packet from her wagon and handed it to Ephedra like a victor delivering a swift death to a fallen foe. Ephedra took the butterfly-shaped cookie colored in gold and lilac in defeat. If I taste this and I don't like it, do you promise to go away? Willow nodded. She sighed before smelling the cookie. Mayflowers and morning dew. She bit into a wing. Spring evenings spent catching fireflies with Celastris came rushing back. They'd enchant bugs into making silly shapes under the fading light of day and into the moonlight. When it got cold, they'd sip hot mugs of chocolate by the hearth and warm a pot of stew for dinner. Oh, how she wanted to see her stubborn daughter, if nothing else, and to tell her how wrong she was, and how she needed to be less like her stubborn old mother. Her eyes ached with tears. She wiped them back with her wrist. "I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't mean to upset you," Willow said, turning away, her broom, wagon, and box of memories in tow. "Thank you for trying my cookies." She made it to the front of the yard before Ephedra spoke up. "A box of the butterfly patties and possession aids. Those are my daughter's favorites. As it turns out, I'm inviting her over for dinner tonight." If you enjoyed Cauldron Girls, I'd really appreciate a like, comment, or follow. Written by Caz Lewis, narrated by Lisa Beckett. Follow for more fantasy stories filled with magic, humor, and heart.